Today I'm going to be showing you how I made this video. I guess this video could be classed as a tutorial, but I feel like it's pretty straightforward, so I'm going to be focusing more on the challenge aspect of the drawing side of this little trend that I'm participating in. I had this idea for this video for a little while now. I've been seeing quite a few other creators do it as like collab formats and just general outfit of the day videos, and I thought this would be a fun little challenging project, both to get myself drawing a bit more consistently digitally and a bit faster, and also to actually get dressed and have a reason to be dressing the way that I am every day. So before I even started the week where I was doing this, I had a bit of a rough plan of what outfits I wanted to be wearing that week and what we would be doing that week, as well as just having a look through a bit more deeper research in other creators that I've seen do this trend, their general reels, timings, and poses, that kind of thing, just so that I would have an actual sense for that while I was planning. Getting into actually making this, I had some very awkward, probably about 10 takes every day, where I was just figuring out how to stand and how to not hate the way I was looking on video. I just feel so awkward. I hope that doesn't come across too much in the videos, but I feel like it must. And then after doing that, I chose a still from each day, and then from that still I used it as a reference for my drawing, where I would then do a loose sketch, line art, fill in blank colors, and render. For the example that I'm showing on screen, I did only screen record one day just because I thought that would make this video a bit more concise and probably easier to follow. But I obviously will be showing all the drawings that I did. Now, when it got to rendering and flat colors, I did decide to keep things pretty simple since I knew they wouldn't be on screen for too long, and I was only really giving myself a day to finish each of these, and I'll be honest, there was maybe 1 or 2 days where I didn't finish the drawing, so the next day I had extra too, so they were kind of rushed. But I did try to keep things simple because I knew that was probably going to happen. Now, knowing myself, I feel like I have a pretty solid traditional style just because of the way that I do my brushwork and that kind of thing. Real quick, I just wanted to interject and mention my mail club on Patreon. By the time you're seeing this, it will be the last day to enter to receive May's edition, which is a print of my Universal Love painting, and let you guys know what next month's print will be, which will be my painting of Frankie. He will be slightly smaller than A5 just because of the more awkward shape that he is. So it'll be the same width as A5, but it'll be a bit shorter. And I just wanted to give a special thank you to Estelle and Hannah, my current print club members. I am very excited to get my first edition out, and thank you so much for your support. To everyone else who's been following along over on Patreon and supporting me here and on Instagram, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. I think I'm still quite unsure with my digital style. It's pretty inconsistent, and when it is consistent, it is only so for about a week. And I feel like I'm constantly experimenting, especially with Procreate's fairly recent updates that kind of did a brush overhaul on everything. So everything I knew from before I started painting is different now. And because I'm painting a lot more than I'm doing digital art, I feel like my habits digitally have kind of disappeared. And I'm not quite sure how to translate my traditional habits into my digital art style, which can be quite frustrating, which I definitely did experience with this. The week that I drew these, I was feeling okay about them. I was feeling pretty happy with them and how they turned out for most of them. But now looking back at them, I'm definitely going to be going in and re-rendering and maybe redrawing, not totally redrawing, but just going over a few details for some of them, just so that I'm happier with the post quality. But anyway, so with this little challenge, I felt like because of the speed of the drawings that I was doing, I was defaulting to something that was a bit more comfortable and known to me, which I haven't tapped into a few months. It's kind of a similar style to my Sam portrait, which is very flat colors with just the detail on the guitar. But I've definitely been struggling a lot with finding my style digitally. I mean, just in 4 pieces from the last month or 2, you can see huge gaps in style. And not that it's a bad thing, because I feel like they still kind of look like they're all drawn by one person. I just definitely would like some more consistency. So again, like I said, I'm still experimenting and trying to figure things out. For me, I think it's easy to be compelled by a photo and want your art to give you that exact same feeling, and this could probably be achieved with realism, but I think I want my art to capture something else. I love the photos that I take, and not to honk my own horn or anything, but I think I have a pretty natural eye for composition when it comes to taking photos and by extension translating them into paintings and drawings. But I don't think torturing myself to make an exact painting replica is going to bring me joy, which is probably why I'm struggling so much with last week's painting as well, which at least I can say I've finished now. And I think after this epiphany that I don't need to make it look exactly like the photo, it fell into place a lot better, because obviously it did. But I think doing this challenge also made me realize that that simplicity is just not something I enjoy as much. So it's become a real challenge of finding a middle ground with my digital work. And not to talk about my cat again, but I really think this painting of Frank and my Takapuna beach painting are my most emotion-evoking pieces, and the pieces that have brought me the most joy and fulfillment from making them. So it really just becomes quite a nuanced conversation of how am I supposed to have it simplified enough to not be realism, but not step into that simplification that feels too little. And I feel like great examples of this is the type of paintings you look at that from far away, they look like perfect realism. But the second you get close enough, you can see the brushstrokes, you can see the line work, you can see what's being put into the painting. The problem is I have no idea how to put this into a digital style. And I feel like I'm just totally rambling. Now for the actual editing part, which I feel like still, this doesn't need to be a tutorial, but... Okay, so for my editing, I'm using InShot on my iPad because I didn't want to import everything to my computer. So I'm just going to select all the clips that I want and in the order that I want and put them into InShot. And I'm going to import my audio, which is copyrighted, so I won't be including it. But I'm importing it here, and then I'm cutting it based on the beats that I can hear. That way I have a visual indication so I don't have to keep listening for it. Now for the first video, I'll be syncing to the first 2 beats instead of individual beats. That way I have a bit more time to put text on screen and have sort of an intro to this video. And while I'm doing this as well, now that I know the length that these clips need to be, I'm just cutting them up and using the parts of them that I actually liked, like the stepping to the side and whatever action I'm doing in the video. And for some of these, I will need to speed it up or slow things down just so that it fits within that time frame. And then after I've done that for all the clips, I'll just go and import my drawings. So I'll select pip and then the plus button and import all of them here. Make sure they're in the correct order and then just drag them so that the clip is the correct length. And then I'm going in and individually resizing them all so that they fit the clip that it's matching. And then because I don't go over it in the video and I feel like I kind of want to explain some of these outfits, so that's what the whole video is about. So my first day, we planned to go out, which fell through. So it was just a work from home, kind of chill, run errands, do some chores day. Day 2, I wanted to dress nice and go to the art gallery, but we slept in. So I had to finish filming and I only got photos after I got ready for bed because I completely forgot that I was doing this because I was otherwise busy. Day 3 was Mother's Day, so I wore something nice and we went out for brunch. Day 4 was a busy one. I went for a driving lesson, did some work at our local pub. Then Jake and I went to D&D. So this was me just before going D&D. And day 5 was another working from home day, finishing up some drawings, editing, and it was very cold and Frank was home and I was very happy to include him. So yeah, as I mentioned before, there have been some changes to these drawings. I just wasn't happy with the overall quality of these after reflecting on them. And I really felt that they did need some extra work to have me not be embarrassed to post them. Hope this inspires someone to make their own, as seeing as how easy it is, even if it's just a one day thing. I think when I get an excuse to wear something nice, maybe new jewelry, maybe I'll do this more, and I'll challenge myself to keep doing some digital drawings that don't suck. Thanks for watching. I made this yesterday. It's a damselfly. It's a rock master damselfly. Look at it, it's beautiful. And one of my best friends got me this from Africa when she went on a trip. She said she couldn't find a dragonfly one, but I don't know, that looks like a dragonfly to me. Isn't it gorgeous? Don't they look beautiful together? Look at the little beads. Look at that. Look at that. Wow.